The album concept hour. The album concept hour. The album concept hour. It's the album concept hour. Side B.
Welcome everybody to the Album Concept Hour Side B live Twitch stream. We are coming at you live again for I think the how many weeks we've been doing this? Like 10 weeks or something. I don't know.
Like that.
I feel like we're starting to kind of get the hang of it. Yeah, we have I am Brad. I am Brad LeBaron. I'm your host of Side B, and I have my co-host Nate. What's going on, Nate?
Yo.
He's also our producer extraordinaire for the video stuff, just in case you guys were wondering what makes this look so pretty. And then we have our co-host Reese. What's going on, Reese?
Hey, everybody.
Welcome. And today we have a very special episode for you guys. We're changing the format up a bit than we usually do for this episode. And we're going to have comedy writer Joey Clift on the podcast a little bit later, around 8:30 after we take our break. And Joey Clift is the producer and I guess maestro of the Our 50 States project that he started at the beginning of the quarantine. He, everyone knows, if you're listening to this, you know of the Sufjan Stevens, huge misstep in not completing his project. Ruffled our feathers, ruffled Joey Clift's as well. And once the pandemic hit, he saw his opportunity to complete the project, and he did. So, we've been talking about getting him on the podcast since the beginning, because his project is, so similar in spirit. Because, people our age have joked about that since it happened. It's like, man, what the fuck, Sufjan? I think that once the pandemic hit, it was just like, oh, I guess the ether was just like, well, I guess we should complete this. Anyway, I'm really excited to have him on. Really excited to talk to him about it. We did North and South Dakota a few weeks back, so if you were paying attention to that or saw the YouTube video, they're going to be in that vein. But what we have done today is we have picked our top 15 of the Our 50 States project, of 510 tracks, I believe. So, we combined our efforts.
It was a lot.
It was a lot of music in a short amount of time. But
decent amount of mock Sufjan Stevens style, yeah.
Yes. There's a variety of approaches people take to this concept, but yeah, we picked the top 15 out of all of those. As far as we're concerned, you can make your own top 15 if you really want to. If you disagree with what we're saying, we will have a playlist on our SoundCloud at the Revolver Audio SoundCloud, if you remember those days. It's the one with the extra O in it after the L, so lover. But that's just if you want to find this playlist. I would go to the Our 50 States page, though, and just listen to at least the album that corresponds to your state. You'll have a good time, just because they do a good job at being pretty state specific and bringing in themes and sometimes sounds from those places. So I'm excited to do this. We got to get through these 10 before we get to Joey Clift. So instead of going track by track, stopping and talking, we're just going to go straight on through the first 10 of our 15, and then we'll take a break, and then after that we will talk to Joey Clift, and we have some clips for the last 5. So that's all. That's that's all the setup I got for this today, guys. And thanks for streaming in. Thanks for joining us. And don't worry about SciTubed or Spotify or anything. We can just pipe it right out to you guys.
Because we have the approval.
Yes.
And it's
SoundCloud. SoundCloud, the copyright kind of gray place on the internet. It's beautiful. You guys want to get into the playlist?
Yeah, let's do it,
we also made sure that these 10 only the people that picked them know about these tracks. So like for each track, 2 of us are going to be hearing it for the first time probably. So yeah, I'll get right to this first one. Is Superfund Times at the Lake. What state was this one from?
South Carolina, I believe.
South Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, which has a very large number of Superfund sites is kind of the joke there, but we can talk about that once it's playing here. So
yeah. There's going to be a lot of long titles and Sufjan-esque jokes for this. This is South Carolina's track Superfund Times by the Lake. And we probably won't stop much. I'll try to tell you either in the chat or in the the quiet parts what the next track's going to be. So this is South Carolina Superfund Times by the Lake. How's the volume?
For spending and lawyers.
Good.
I'm not sure about your volume, but I can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
You
you
can drop
both
it
sound
touch
good
or
over
you
the
can keep it
music.
right where it is.
How about that?
Perfect. A little easier to talk over without
That's like
feeling like I'm
perfect.
shouting.
Yeah.
Cool. Got it.
Yeah.
And if you're in the feed and you disagree with us,
my
let us
nature is to
know.
try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we have a Discord that is in somewhere on the screen here, and you should jump onto it if you happen to have Discord, because we love to have more people in there. And it's the best way to access our playlist that we build, that Brad builds, I should say.
Yes. Oh, it's an effort together.
And so this song was like very Sufjan Stevens style, but also very much about almost Simpsons-esque levels of like pollution and just environmental neglect. I was just looking at there are 31 listed Superfund sites in South Carolina, which is not necessarily the most, but
I kind of want to hear the
I'm going to turn it up just a little bit.
yeah.
They made way into breast milk, eggs that wouldn't hatch, bass with broken spine. So the signs went up with consumption warnings, and the parent company paid millions in settlement. The boaters returned to the water, ghost hunters
Jesus.
to the island, and the
Ghost hunters.
chemicals settled into the settlement.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, not a very
Yeah.
happy song.
Kind of reminds me of early Bright Eyes. This next track is Missouri's Toasted Rabs, or T-Rabs, sorry.
T-Rabs.
Ooh.
Yeah. This one is awesome.
okay.
Funk beat there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down
This
with
is
that.
like, yeah, you should, the lyrics are great.
Crispy four corners of the savor the taste.
Oh man,
Crabs and I like them thick. Cut down 40 right now as
I do
Toasted
like
raviolis.
toasted ravioli.
On the
Yeah.
hill, St. Louis, Southside.
I mean,
My brother
what's the difference between like a
accidentally
pierogi?
created
Like
no
not a
Toasted
pierogi.
crabs
Like
growing up, my favorite treat.
Pierogies are basically potato ravioli, mashed potato ravioli.
I'm trying to think what I'm thinking of, like toasted ravioli versus what? I don't know. I like it.
It's funny though, 'cause they're fried, they're not toasted. It's just hilarious to me that they call them toasted.
They have toasted ravioli at Glass Nickel Pizza, and they're delicious.
Go to the source, support the local release. Much love to T-Ravs
I
and
get
to
those
STL
like every
Beast.
Friday night when I get really hammered at work and go to Glass Nickel
Crispy
afterwards.
corners of a savor the taste.
Yeah.
T-Ravs and a lock 'em thick. Could down 40 right
Thought I was
now
lost
as
for a
party
second.
trick.
Yeah, that's a possible sponsor. See if you get Glass Nickel to sponsor you and just give you free pizza every time you podcast.
T-Ravs dip it down in the sauce.
That would be interesting.
Baby, I'm a T-Rav
Pretty great.
boss. Now the
I wonder if they
recipe
would-
I'm about
if they
to
would do that.
display.
I still think Ale
T-Ravs on
Asylum would be a good one
every
for you
day.
guys. Just
1
get a
pound
beer
wraps,
sponsor.
meat, a cheese, cut palm,
The
cut
official
milk,
beer
3
sponsor
eggs,
of the album
sticky
concept
peas.
hour.
Veggie oil, marinara, what else do we see? 2 cup crumbs, parsley, and
How do they sponsor you? How they get Brad a
Spread the
six-pack of
wraps
Delicious
out
every
on a
week?
baking sheet. Freeze them up 30 minutes so they won't be complete.
Sorry, I was
in the
Mix
groove.
Together in a shallow dish. Mix the seasoned crumbs in a
The
second
song
mix.
is catchy
Dip the
as fuck,
wraps in the
to be
wet.
honest.
One at a time. Coat with crumbs. Freeze 15 minutes.
I want to take this, I'm going to extract the recipe and make this.
I know, right? It's the whole it's an entire recipe.
Golden brown, sprinkle palm, dip
Yeah.
marinara, time to chow down.
Wow.
T-Ravs all up in your face.
A full recipe song. There need to be more of these.
Out of the 16 that I listened to, I think 17, 18, there
Yeah.
were some raps that were like this that were really good, and some raps that were really rough and were barely raps. So
Oh, like the Mandalorian one? Yeah.
we can't play ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
My dying day. When I went into Ralph's, thought I was living in hell. Can't find good raps outside of STL. They're a little nutty, a fried
Yeah.
delight. But we call them baked because it sounds alright. Now all I want is to share them with friends, cause I'm always hungry when this fridge ends. T-Ravs all up in your face. Crispy bowl
the
corners of the
face.
savor the taste. T-Ravs and a lock 'em thick. Could down 40 right now as a party trick. T-Ravs all up in your face. Crispy bowl corners of the savor
It
the
spoke
taste.
to me. And by the way, just most of the songs that I selected were about food or drink. So
Yeah, you mentioned
I had a
that.
few of those too, and I guess I didn't necessarily make them out of here, but ones that I liked the most were. There's one that was called Utah. Why does Utah love Jello? Or something?
This next one is
Pretty great.
Iowa
classic.
corn. It's just called corn.
Corn.
Corn, 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 corn.
It is all you see when you drive through Iowa if it's summer. It's just-
And many Midwestern states.
also soybeans. Let's not forget soybeans. I mean, they pass over that.
Corn,
this is great.
corn,
Although, I mean,
This is about as much respect as Iowa gets.
corn,
yeah.
At least in its white
Hey,
iteration.
At
in
least
this
it's better than
one,
Slipknot.
I was about to say, in this one song, they have represented Iowa better than Slipknot's Iowa album. So,
I mean, the massive white anger in Iowa, Slipknot might do a pretty good job of that. Let's be real.
that's true.
True, yeah.
Yeah.
corn, corn.
Although, if you're ever going through Iowa for some reason, pretty much any good roadside diner has like a badass double or triple cut pork chop, and it's totally worth the time. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Stopped at some place. I don't even remember the name of it, but I was like, oh, they have like a $12 triple cut pork chop platter with 3 sides and a basket of bread, and I was like, fuck yeah. Like,
Oh, this is Vermont's smoking shitty weed on Robert Frost's grave.
yeah, this was my pick. I don't know why I was.
This is number 12 in the countdown.
And if I recall correctly,
The official
this was all
countdown.
instrumental.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah, you know, the whole like walking through the snowy woods thing, real calm
Yeah.
and chill, and then let's smoke some shitty weed on Robert Frost's grave because
Yeah.
I believe he must be buried in Vermont. I didn't look that up though, so don't quote me on that.
I could see
I'm
myself
just assuming
trying to
they're-
use this to sate my desire for the Christmas, Simply Having a Wonderful Christmas Time by McCartney.
Oh, right.
Sorry for interrupting, Brad.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Massive delay on my mic.
Oh, no. Is the delay back?
It's
No,
really not too
it's
bad.
still
You're
massive.
freezing though, Brad.
It's because of
Oh,
the,
I'm freezing.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
you're
probably
really
because I went onto the web page looking at
Damn you,
notices.
Brad. How dare you use the internet while you podcast?
I went to the webpage.
Uh-oh. Am I still
I
frozen?
clicked the thing.
Yeah, you're pretty frozen. I don't think you
Shit.
moved in about 6 seconds, 7
Huh.
seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you jumped a frame. Partial frame jump.
Don't forget, you can always turn your regular mic or regular video back on too. So
That's true. Yeah.
That might be
Can always-
helpful. You're
can always do
pretty
that.
frozen.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to think of how I can cut resources.
No avocado toast.
Computer fucking sucks. Let's see. Paint.
So everybody
Hey, S
who's
is
watching
still on.
this, if you have any, like a spare, even if you just have a spare $1,
Yes.
Brad could use some support in getting a new computer,
Yeah.
Or
and he
even a
would
new
be
webcam.
supported if you did his Patreon, or you could hit up his Venmo or something if he wants to type
Honestly,
it out. 'cause
you
I'm not
could-
gonna-
You could
There's
take
also-
a picture of the dollar and then like email that to me. That even would be more enough.
It might be a little demoralizing, but I mean, it would
Well,
still
I
have
mean,
a
you know,
nice
at least
contributive
at least I know that you have the dollar and you're paying attention to me. You know, so it's possible that I'll get the dollar at some point.
If it's a vandalized dollar, even
True.
better. If it says like boner instead of one
Oh.
on it, or if it's like
Or
one where you like draw a
solid
rage
snake.
face on it.
I was about to say if you could put solid snake on I think you could put solid snake on a 5.
Yeah, I think it's the fiber.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna switch to the main camera.
Yeah, it's been kind of entertaining watching your screen jump around, but it doesn't really make for a smooth discussion.
Oh no!
But yeah, there was
Alright.
nothing more to this one, but I was
No,
listening to
I
this
opened
and,
up Pro Tools, which
Oh, no.
takes
Gonna
the most
crash your computer.
takes the most resources possible. All right, because it looks
No,
just like
so-
the OBS.
You need to like program in like a list where you can just push a button to kill a bunch of programs on your computer and just call it avocado toast. And when you cut that out, suddenly your computer runs way better and, you know,
All right, here we
resources
go.
are available.
How's this?
Hey, that's way smoother so far.
There we go.
Still a little jumpy.
That's because Pro
think he'll
Tools. That's because Pro Tools is trying to open.
Gotcha.
All right, this song is mine. It's from Nebraska. It's I'm Only Here for the Steaks.
Aha!
Nebraska. I drive. So yeah, I mean, so I'm from Wisconsin, live in Colorado. Driving through Nebraska is like, I mean, it's a chore, but it's also
Pass through
most boring
Hastings, stop in Kearney, stretch in Scottsbluff and Fort Calhoun. Different cities don't mean that
This is a really
much to
well-produced
me.
song.
Omaha
I like
Like as a song, just in general, it's great.
It's like bluesy or bluegrassy country kind of.
Robust, beefy, tri-tip. Sirloins bursting with flavor. I'm only here for the steak.
You know what this kind of reminds me of,
Brad throws up
actually?
like but he's a
Oasis a little bit. I feel like they have a few tracks kind of like this.
Made my way here.
Is am I still freezing up?
Left my family
a little
Man.
bit, yeah.
for this meat.
yeah. I haven't seen your mouth.
I mean, I guess it hasn't been my night to have frozen internet in a while. You know?
Yeah.
It kind of rotates, you know? Yeah, if it's still doing this after like a few minutes, I'll close OBS and just put it straight through the Zoom, so there's not even, you know, that between.
right
Yeah. Let's give it a second, see too.
because you're doing the virtual. Yeah, just give it a second
Yeah.
because it seems like it's getting a little bit better over time.
Yeah, you're at least moving now. You're kind of like puppet stop motion, but you know, like you're moving.
No, I'm gonna close Discord on the computer.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Task Manager, Brad.
It's also kind of. It reminds me of one of Brad's favorite things on YouTube of the Dr. Professor or whatever, or Mr. Whatever it's called. Professor Brothers.
The Professor Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Dr. Mister.
Where it's like Dr. Miss, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Sergeant Pepper. I don't know. Who knows?
This next song is Indiana FAC. It's one of mine.
So now I really want steak,
Oh,
by the way.
you're going to want to listen to the lyrics for this one.
Yeah, I want steak now, too.
Speaking of steak, that'll be relevant to this song.
What's FAC stand
This is
for?
really well produced, too.
I moved away in 7th grade in junior high. A shithole town called Martinsville is where I reside. First day of school and walking down the halls just now. Was told that breaking news a classmate fucked a cow. I asked to clarify because this sounds insane. He said it's true and I had to reboot my brain. Held up his pants and wiped the sweat off of his brow. I guess I must reiterate that he was fucking a cow. 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 Fucking a cow.
Allegedly.
Fucking a cow. Fucking a cow. Fucking a cow.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
it seems like it's getting a little bit better, too, Brad.
Fucking a cow.
Just give it
And
like
then again, like
30 more minutes to catch up.
Another classmate caught with his stick in a steer. The point of night that this town is causing harm. With private parts and holes of livestock on the farm. I gotta get away and need of some relief. And I don't mean I wanna speed up in some beef.
Oh my
I
God.
can't believe I have to fucking say this all right now.
Brad, I'm gonna buy you a new computer.
Hey, it's going normal now.
As soon as I get a good job.
Yeah, you're caught up again.
You can see me dance now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking a cow.
Once I become a millionaire,
Happened to me twice. I don't want this to happen to me a third time.
What's the
which will probably take like never.
Indiana one?
Yeah.
Is there a story behind that?
I hope so. This is Rhode Island 1, The Turtle Who Died.
Yep. So this is all. This one's good.
Children traumatized by my flesh that is rotting. My shell is decomposing, and that's gonna last for a long time. I'm 105. This is my time to die. So get used to it.
And the like the Sufjan Stevens ukulele style, I kind of thought was pretty tongue in cheek and funny here.
Well, I've heard a lot of like ukulele and singing ones. You know, this is one of the best ones, I think.
Yeah, I thought this was a really well done one.
Yeah.
I mean, so being in high school from like 2004 to 2008, there were a lot of shitty hipster people who played ukulele a lot and sang. And
Yeah.
none of them
Well, you
was
know
good.
what? Ukuleles are cheap.
Yeah.
And they're really easy to learn.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, it's perfect for that. Yeah. No, I know a ton of. I mean, we know Brianna Price. That was her main instrument, but she had the voice for it too.
I mean,
Ukulele can be a gimmick, but
it can
it's
also be
definitely
really
like.
good.
Yeah.
I think
This is good though. This is.
It really is.
What's good about this is the production is really high quality. Like a lot of the songs that were done on acoustic instruments, I noticed were like almost hard to hear that part in the mix.
I'm
Yeah.
closing my eyes now. Goodbye to my family. Goodbye to the waves and the current of life. While the Coast Guard arrives and the tourists are gawking, the fishes are laughing while the mayor cries. I was here
This is Sufjan,
first,
like-
I invented grace. I was a dream
yeah.
girl.
In a way,
Yeah.
maybe.
Eager to find if there's anything for me on the
I think
other
so. I think that's got the spirit of it.
And I'll get used to it.
Yeah, it's got the lyrical spirit for sure.
Yeah.
I'll get used to
That's for sure.
it. I'll get used to it.
If I remember right, this one goes on a bit.
Everybody on the beach is so
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I came here to die, and I don't really care if you and your children are traumatized by my flesh that is rotting, my shell decomposing. That's gonna
I just love the like
last such a
graphic imagery of the
long
rotting turtle on the beach, and everybody's so freaked out.
Horrified.
This is like it's from the turtle's point of view. Like, no, I was here first. Fuck you. I'm 105 years old.
This is my
Yeah.
time to die.
It's a very interesting idea for a song.
That's so great.
All right, we're at Michigan. Go, Fago, go. And this is number 8.
Michigan, we call a soda pop.
Yes. I'm already in.
The little kid, he's got a beverage that won't stop.
That is good.
Yeah.
The bottle's coming bigger and the taste does too. It's local and it's local. There's no denying.
It's local and it's local.
Did they say loco, maybe?
I couldn't tell if they said loco or local again, but either way, it's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. Fago.
And it definitely made me think of Go Michigan Go from Sufjan. And so even though stylistically it's like lounge music, it's still like a play on what Michigan is about.
Well, there were
I
a
think
few.
what the style is.
There's a few groups at the time that were playing around with this style. I can't remember
What is
any
the
of the
name for
names.
this style? Like, I
Well, it's kind of like swing or something, right? Like
can big band swing almost.
big band swing.
Because
I'm sure, yeah. It's like lounge music, though. I think lounge music is probably the best. Yeah.
fucking Bing Crosby.
It's what our parents' listens to.
Yeah. When Bing Crosby wasn't just that guy from Away Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Bing fucking Crosby.
You should hear this part. Do you know what he's talking about?
No.
He's like talking about like partners in crime, and it sounds like he's juggalos.
I mean, I think in general it's a Juggalo song about Fago. Which to me is
Yeah.
funny. No, I haven't been to Michigan since I was a kid, so I can't say about Michigan, but Iowa and Nebraska, like if you're talking Juggalo country, man, it is straight up Juggalo country.
I'd love to see. Sorry. I'd love to see a bunch of juggalos singing this and dancing.
I mean, if you send that to like a Juggalo Discord or page, it'll probably happen.
Dude.
You could like.
That's the next step of this project. Making all the videos. Okay. This song is Arizona Cactus in My Ass.
I did not include Fart of Texas on my list here of my top several, but it was worth it. I mean, it's disgusting. It is about having slippery farts and diarrhea and
slippery
being from Texas.
I like slippery as a descriptor for fart.
They like
everybody
the
listen,
alliteration really well and like
ain't afraid to say it. This is
do
who
the
I
Heart of
am.
Texas. You know the like Heart of Texas.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
This is who I am.
Oh, I was gonna say the music's a little bit louder in the mix, I think.
Oh, let me turn it down.
Welcome to the desert
Compared to
where
our
we do
voices right now.
shit like voting for Donald Trump.
Their
Even
voices
though
are
we're
our voices.
Mexican, we like
This one's got a lot of
riding
bass in
bikes
it.
to the
Because
grocery
I think the
store.
voices
said
the voices
voices.
are pretty loud for
Sit by the
sure. I
front
mean,
door hunting for
Voices,
even
yeah.
though we don't need it.
Yeah.
To be honest,
Judging
we
by
don't
everyone's
really do
eyes.
shit. We're just
It's a little, it's better now. Like I was having a hard time hearing Reese, and I wasn't sure about the stream.
I'm
okay.
probably a little farther back from my mic than I should have been too. I tend to lounge back, so because I have a laptop, which is not ideal for podcasting. It turns out.
So come to the desert, yeah. Everybody listen, got a cactus in my ass. Ain't afraid to say it, this is who I am. Everybody listen, got a cactus in my ass. Ain't afraid to say it, this is who I am. Everybody listen, got a cactus
I've never
in
been
my
to
ass.
Arizona.
Ain't afraid to say it, this is who I am.
Which is weird because I don't know why. I feel like people fucking go to Arizona when they're from Wisconsin. Like, not just because their
Fiery
grandparents are there.
wasteland.
bloody siphon.
I mean, I guess a lot of it is your grandparents are there with the RV for the summer, so you go visit them for a week or some shit. But like my grandparents never did that.
We live in a small rural
Yeah.
area. Bitch, I'll fucking find you. You stole my fucking gas from a fucking dirtbag. Who the fuck does that? That's not fucking cool. You fucking asshole. Fuck you.
Oh man. So living in Colorado, I mean, I'm from the
This
Midwest
kinda reminds-
originally, so you don't hear shade about other states from different regions sometimes. Yeah. Go ahead, say what you're gonna say.
This, I was gonna say, this production reminds me of like Childish Gambino a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I could see him doing this, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think it'd be real funny if it turned out that somebody who contributed something was under a pseudonym and just like actually a famous
That's what I
artist,
want to
too.
know, man. That's what I really, really want to know. All right, well, guys, this is our last one of our first 10 of the 15. This is from DC's album. This is DC Doesn't Have.
And
Those numbers.
This one was just very political and decently done.
Okay.
And the production quality, as you guys have said, like it's been all over on this because it was a contribution thing.
Oh, very Sufjan from the gate, too.
Yes.
For senators or representatives besides
Also, this is important. So
one non-voting delegate and shadow Congress people. None of them can actually
Yeah, and the House was able to pass
DC
giving them
statehood
statehood,
legislation.
but of course, at the time, the Senate was, I think, still Republican controlled when they did that, maybe, or at least even then, it's like, would Joe Manchin go along with that? Maybe not.
A federal law took this away. Now the people
I feel like a lot of assholes would immediately make the argument that it would take away their power, and it's like that's the kind of the point is to dilute your power a little bit.
Yeah,
well,
because
the bigger
DC
fact is
would
there's
definitely
tons of people that can't vote.
have independent politics probably too.
Yeah,
Like,
and it would force us to take responsibility.
Have no representation.
Well, it would force us to take responsibility for our territories more.
This part,
right?
free blacks. And the next year we took its voting rights back.
yeah, which is accurate because it was the highest population of free black people in the U.S. at that time, like relatively. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
so they
And one thing I think is important about that, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I think it's important about that is that like that the people who live there, they're continually thwarted from having statehood, partially because it would prevent them from. Most like people consider black voters to be a monolith for the Democrats usually, but if they in DC had voting rights or as a state or had that statehood level, then they would probably be more left leaning and they probably wouldn't have much of a Republican Party going on there.
I mean, and the argument in
um,
favor of balance would be if you bring in Puerto Rico,
it'd be
too,
more
Puerto Rico
independent
would be
politics.
an instant purple state because Puerto Rico, if they chose to join the U.S., would be like it's a much more conservative place than you'd think by demographics and stuff. So,
Well, yeah, it wouldn't be as cut and dry and simple
As DC.
as they think, you know.
yeah.
Well, no, as just in general they think, you know, like they.
So the current bill
but-
to make DC a state, apparently it's a good legal workaround. It's smart. It's to reduce the size of the federal district to pretty much just a small chunk of land surrounding the government buildings, and then everything else becomes the state. So the issue is they're saying you can't make a state out of like a federal special administrative district or whatever it's called. But now it's like, oh, but what if we reduce the size of that? So that's still there and it's still established by the Constitution, but we pencil in like the rest of this area becomes a state, which would be much more legal. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of what, you know, you're kind of, you know, talking about here, I just wanted to play a theme for this segment. This is What Are We Drinking / What Are We Thinking?
yeah.
Yeah, that's the theme that we always use every week without fail. This is a segment where we talk about what beverage we are drinking, as well as what we're kind of thinking about.
Disclaimer here: we
in the
never do
world.
anything every week without fail. If you're listening, we don't, but we pretend we do.
No, what are you talking about? I don't know what Reese is talking about at all. We do this every week without fail.
Well, there's two things we do every week without fail, and that's drinking and smoking. But
that's pretty accurate right there. So whether it's on camera or not, it is happening. I assure you, at some point in the week. We are from Wisconsin, but I'll start off tonight. I am drinking some Pseudo Sue on a recommendation from co-host Nate over there. And as far as what I'm thinking about, you know what? Actually, come back to me about that. I don't really have many thoughts in my head besides like stuff that's going to spoil the interview in a few minutes here. But what about you, Reese? What are you drinking / thinking about? If you got
all right.
something on your mind.
I am drinking Odd 13 Brewing in Lafayette, Colorado. Their Colorado Kid IPA. And before this, I had...
Okay.
Fuck, I think I threw the can away. I had a Ratio Brewing, also Denver, Colorado, Sparks Fly Juicy IPA.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to hydrate as well. So I am drinking, but I'm already trying to rehydrate because not been drinking enough water because it's been cold.
Very important to hydrate because alcohol.
What am I thinking? I'm trying to not think about the recent mass shooting in Boulder, which is like not very far from here. I've been thinking really intensely too about the recent DC statehood bill since I listened to this last song.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you were talking about that.
And just like I've done a little, like I have read the Constitution several times in my life, like thoroughly for different courses and stuff.
Well, I was gonna say to kind of get at your background a little bit. I mean, you actually got like a degree in political science, right?
I did, but I mostly ignored U.S. political science because I thought international was more interesting.
You followed it through to the end. You got
I took some high level con law courses, and like so there is like good justification for DC statehood, and it actually really matters because changing the size of an administrative district should not be a big hurdle. It's like, I mean, for fuck's sakes, if you had like, if the National Oil Reserve becomes unimportant at some point, that's not constitutional. But like, for example, that should be reasonable to reduce, especially if you're like a genuine fucking Republican and you're like, we have to cut the budget because the budget's fucking stupid. Like, okay, cool. Like cut down DC, make it no longer administered by, the federal government for fuck's sakes. Like let it actually have its own statehood for fuck's sakes.
Well, I don't know. I mean, to get to like a lighter part of what you're kind of talking about, like part of the reason that these things happen is covered in a song that is going to be in the top 5 about Florida and how they don't know how to vote, and yet they are like always kind of given the reins every 4 years for the presidential run for whatever reason. We've decided that is the way we're doing it, and it's the part of the reason that some of this stuff, gets stalled and never happens or never gets the proper like discourse even is because people have been swayed for really bad actors in politics. There's some straight up white supremacists that are senators right now. So
some that were our founding fathers, even you could say.
Well, good point.
Yeah. I mean, let's not even get into like the deep constitutional issues of how our country was literally built, and the Senate and the House of Representatives, and unequal representation because it was supposed to weigh out against either potential black voters or against large numbers of like non-voting slaves who were given a de facto representation as population. Like, fuck, man.
Yeah. It's always been kind of wielded in this way that isn't fair to minorities or people outside of hetero cisgendered, or wait, that's the same thing. White cisgendered people. Cisgender is hetero, right? Is that?
Yeah. Hetero and cisgender are different things, but they're
different.
Heterosexuality and cisgender is gender.
Okay. Thank you, Nate.
But anyway, yeah.
I was going to say that song pointed out that Wyoming has less people than DC.
Yeah, that's.
and has a senator, has representation.
Yeah,
it's fucking ridiculous. That's all.
Yeah. So, guys, pay attention to. I guess what we're saying here, guys, is pay attention to your local, votes and what those people actually represent and actually want. Because being from Wisconsin, we've been in a battleground state for most of my adult life, and it's not fun. I don't like being, pulled apart like two dogs ripping at a tug of war thing. It's not great. No one in the middle or the bottom wins. So yeah, completely agree with you, Reese. What about you, Nate? We'll get over to you about your drinks and your thoughts. What are you drinking? What are you thinking?
Well, right now I am drinking Bell's Oberon because I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I've been drinking Pseudo Sue, which is a Iowa beer from Decorah, Iowa, for like way too long. And it's also summer now, so Oberon is out. It's my favorite summer beer.
Yeah, and now you've passed the
Oberon's
torch.
delicious.
Drink my beers seasonally.
Is it really
Yeah,
summer
it is
there? It
delicious. It's
doesn't
a wheat
feel
beer.
like summer here.
I mean, it's like getting to be springish here and there.
It's fucking. It's
I guess when I say
most of
summer
today.
from a beer standpoint, I feel like, there's always Maibach in like the end of February, and there's always like in Wisconsin especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely have our drinking seasons in
I like
Wisconsin.
the dark box personally. I like the box, not the Maibach.
Summer in Wisconsin starts in March.
Summer in Wisconsin starts when it gets above freezing for more than 2 days at a time.
Yeah, whenever you can you can walk comfortably from one bar to another bar. It's pretty much summertime.
And if you're not from Wisconsin and you're listening to this, you should understand that the shorts don't go away. So there's not like a clothing choice for summer. And if you've ever been in actually the downtown of any college town in Wisconsin, also like
there's people just walking around.
Clothing doesn't change. It's like, no. I'm just going to go out on like, middle of December wearing like, I don't know, heels and a skirt. And it's like, you're going to die. It's like negative 20, but it doesn't stop anyone.
Well, then there's just some people in this city too, dudes and girls that like just go walk around outside in the middle of like 10-degree weather with no coat, shorts on. They're just like cool with it. I don't even.
Nate, I think you used to do that sometimes. You'd be like, whatever, man. I just got a t-shirt on. It's winter.
Yeah.
It was something about like a Wisconsinite sort of pride of like, oh, I'm like a polar bear because I'm like from here. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really make sense. Like everybody is going to be affected by this cold deeply.
Well,
I mean, my dad wears shorts.
They have good layers
all year. He's also chunky, so he doesn't necessarily. He's got some insulation. But
if I couldn't do that if I wanted to, even if I had the mental like fortitude, I would physically break down.
Also, for the record, this was
I'm not
no
a
way
strong
a
man.
women cover up comment. It's literally just don't freeze your body parts off. That's all I meant. I just want to throw that out there because I felt weird about it.
No, it's but no, downtown State Street is just insane place. It's like going. When there's you get teleported to Florida for like a few blocks.
Yes. What I meant to say is that when there's an inch of ice on the ground, high heels are not a smart shoe choice. Okay, not that. There's anything wrong with high heels otherwise. So
yeah.
You're not trying to like tell people how to dress. What you're saying is like,
don't break your ankle.
You're not trying to heel shame
footwear if you're going to walk on
in the
ice.
winter. Yeah,
it's dangerous out there, guys.
But
what are you thinking, Nate?
What are you thinking about though? Yeah.
Oh, what am I thinking about? Yeah. So I am thinking about how happy I am that I have the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. What I am
congrats.
What I'm a little bit concerned about is that I feel like a lot of people are going to get this no matter what because it's just getting into high gear, but like I'm considered a non-frontline essential worker because I occasionally take calls that have to do with medical things.
Okay.
And those medical things are like signing people up for prescriptions or helping these doctors troubleshoot this expensive equipment called I won't tell you what it is, but anyway, it's expensive medical equipment.
Yes.
But anyway, that's that's the thing is I'm just like, really, like,
I think they'll sponsor
essential for this.
I think they'll sponsor us, the medical equipment company that you're working with. Then we could totally talk about it.
I don't know. They
like, hey, we have this
how much we
podcast.
talk shit about U.S. healthcare, I strongly doubt that for some reason. But
yeah, and they're kind of health care in general is kind of tight with their money, you know.
Yeah.
But
So-
So yeah, are you doing that? You're doing that all from the desk, I'm assuming, from home, Nate.
Yeah, that's my job right now. I'm working for a answering service for a variety of clients. So I can handle any call in a range from like, oh, this old lady in the middle of Pennsylvania wants to order $800 worth of nativity objects. Yes, she may do that if she pleases.
You should just stop that one next time. Like let the help calls go through, but no nativity scenes. We don't need that shit in our culture anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, or you should automatically include like, I don't know, some kind of alien figurine in each one just to like
there you go.
Throw some interesting stuff in there,
There you go. Or throw full grown Jesus in the cradle.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
That might be a fun one. Or just dress up as a Jesus figure in a loincloth and stay in the setup. Really go for it.
I think like Qui-Gon Jinn from Star Wars is like a great substitute for any of the wise men, and you can do that, and nobody will probably notice, especially if they have slightly bad eyesight. So
yeah. Honestly, if you put 3 human Jedis up there, yeah.
So Nate, you should probably just start subbing those in when the old ladies are ordering the nativity figurines. Is what I meant to say. So
yeah, that'd be nice. But as far as what I'm thinking, I'm gonna get back. Unless do you have anything else? Any pressing things on your mind? Okay. I've been thinking about these different musical artists that have passed away. And I'm thinking about that because I'm going to be on the podcast Body Count tomorrow night. So I just deep dived into like Marvin Gaye, Tim Buckley and Jeff Buckley, Elliott Smith and Ian Curtis. All very depressing stories for different reasons. We're going to do a podcast episode about all of those people the podcast Body Count is about famous incidents of people dying. So, if you're opposed to that kind of, content, or you don't like crime drama type stuff, maybe steer clear. But it's kind of in that vein, and I'm really excited to get on that podcast.
Sounds awesome.
I'm kind of I kind of brought Marvin Gaye to the table because like we covered Marvin Gaye on this podcast, or side A. But if you don't know about him, a lot of real tragic stories there. But yeah, that's and that.
But you can celebrate them.
Yes, exactly. But that's been what we're thinking and what we're drinking. Oh, whoops! Sorry.
Second round of applause.
Yeah. Okay, you know what that actually was? It's a martini shaker.
Really?
Yeah. Hold on.
In your house?
That makes sense.
Everyone that's listening, close your eyes. Listen to this for a second.
Yeah, I hear the difference. I hear the clink rather than.
Yeah.
It sounds. That was a pretty dry martini shake. That was clearly not a double.
Yeah, no, I don't think that there was much in there. I think that maybe they wanted to emphasize the sound, so they just did it empty.
Like mostly an ice clunk. Ice.
They should have put a little bit
liquid
in there, probably. Maybe I'll redo that sound bit and upload it to YouTube.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Brad. By the way. Quick side note, and for anybody who's listening that is a creator themselves, check out freesound.org. It's one of the best resources for free sound. And I was like, oh, did he get this from free? Did he get this from freesound.org? I just had conniption there.
No, it's all right.
Did he get this?
But no, I did not.
I
I did not get it from freesound.org. I get all my sound clips from random YouTube videos and YouTube video.
Ooh, that might be a problem.
Well, I mean, I look for the royalty free. I always look for royalty free. And if it doesn't say that, I steer clear of it.
Good, because we're not giving anybody 5 cents for that
That's a good
sound
idea.
clip, so you know.
Yeah, no. These are free copyright things. Much like this album that we're talking about. Well, not album we're talking about tonight. There's a bunch of
Series of albums.
Series of albums we're talking about tonight.
And speaking of money, once again, Brad has a Patreon and he has a Ko-fi. It's a coffee, but it's KO-FI.
Yeah. It's kind of.
There are some ways to send him money, and
weird
Brad's
pun.
computer is crap. So I strongly encourage you.
It
If you
is.
have like
truly
$2, send him like $2. If you can, if you listen to this and you like it, like he needs it. He's doing this for a living and he's good at it. And grocery delivery is his side gig. And I mean, I'm sure that fucking sucks.
So far, I still need to figure the layout of Woodman's, but once I figure that out, I'm sure it'll be smooth sailing.
Well, that helps. But nonetheless, if you have $1 to $5, throw him his way. $5 a month gets you a Patreon subscription, and that's this whole Side B podcast without having to listen to us live.
It's actually
just 3? I thought it was
just,
5. Fuck,
just
I thought it was
$3. I started out as 5, but you know what? Everyone does 5. I'm doing 3. So $3. And also, by the way, we're going to be starting to release these onto their own stream. 4 weeks after the episodes drop, we'll release them for free on our Anchor stream, which I have not put together yet, but I will. We have a few minutes left here till we got to take our break. But we just went through, just to recap for anyone that's coming in, we just went through the top 10 of the top 15 for the Our 50 States project that our guest, Joey Clift, who's going to be coming on after the break, got together. And when we get together with Joey Clift after the break, we're going to do the top 5 of the Our 50 States project and finish it off. But it won't be full tracks. It's just going to be clips because some of them are very long. And I didn't want to force Joey to sit there through these songs that he probably had to meticulously produce and all that. So
I think he's heard them before. Yeah.
He's probably heard these a couple times. If he's, if he's the one that put him, in order and all that and blah blah blah. Definitely want to ask him about the production stuff though, because I don't know if he was much into production stuff before, or music production at least. I didn't see that in any of the stuff I looked up, but.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it might have been just a general executive producer. We'll find out. But I'm thinking it's probably more of an executive producer. He was like, hey, here's some ideas for each state that you could riff on, or you could riff on whatever you want, and then they probably just went off of that or something.
Yeah.
But we'll find out.
Yes, we will find out.
Are we gonna take a short breather?
I was gonna say, can we go to the break early? It's 8:29. I don't know if that messes with your setup.
We
Nate.
can go to break whenever.
Yeah, let's go to break and
let
get Joey on
if
here.
we need to take extra time, that's fine.
Okay, cool.
Legit.
Yeah, I'll let.
And so if you're streaming with us, especially if you're just joining us, we are going to be off for a bit, but it's just because we're halfway through, and then Joey Clift is actually with us for this next half, which is super cool.
Yes, stoked. Can't wait.
All right, see you in a bit.
See you in a little bit.
Side B.
All right, let's go.
We're live.
We're talking now.
We're talking. We're live. Welcome back to the second half of the album concept hour. I'll get the housekeeping out of the way here quick. We are back talking about Joey Clift's Our 50 States project. And if you're watching, you can tell we got another screen down here. It might be, I think it's, I'm not sure where it is for
I'm
you.
I'm in the bottom right, I think.
Okay, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing too.
Yeah.
All right, good. We've talked about Joey Clift on some previous episodes, and we're finally, having him on to talk about his Our 50 States project. And yeah, we're how's it going, Joey?
Yeah, I'm
thanks
doing
for
good.
being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to talk about it. Before we dive in, right
Yeah.
before the break, I heard somebody talking about how they got the Johnson and Johnson vaccine. Wait,
Oh
who was
yes,
That was Nathan.
yes.
Okay, Nathan. Okay, so like I just got my first Moderna shot
Okay.
a couple weeks ago, I think. I'm like due for my second shot in 2 weeks. And like I'm trying to figure out like I feel like there's fun alliterative names for people who got the Moderna vaccine, the Moderna mob, and the Pfizer vaccine, Pfizer pals or Pfizer posse. But I can't think of a good one for Johnson and Johnson. So it's like the
yeah. Yeah, I don't know
it's like
because it's such an
JJ
old
gang, something like that. Like
JJ gang.
It's like, is there like a J word? It's like because like
Yeah,
Moderna mob
yeah.
and Pfizer posse. It's like that's MMPP.
Yeah,
Johnson
John Cena?
Johnson for the Johnsons. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. That's if anyone listening has like an idea, like has a pun like ready to go, like hit up the chat.
Yeah, if you could drop that in the chat, it's haunted my dreams for the past. I'm gonna say 2 days because like I got a couple of friends who started getting the Johnson and Johnsons, and I'm like, what do I call you?
One shot wonders.
Yeah,
one shot. Hey, I don't know. That's not bad.
One shot wonders. Yeah, that's because it's like it's I like you know like a lot of people. I feel like there's a lot of stuff online about the different vaccines, and like I'm honestly a little jealous of my friends who got the Johnson and Johnson because it's like, oh, you're like done, and then 2 weeks later you're good to go. I'm like done, and then 6 weeks later I'm good to go. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is it a what 4 weeks between shots for you?
Yeah, so it's so first shot. I got the first shot, then it was a 4 week, and then it's a 4 week wait until the second shot, and then 2 weeks after the second shot, I'm good to go.
Okay,
yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah. I think some of them are what 2.5 weeks between shots.
Pfizer is like 3 weeks between shots.
3 weeks.
And,
okay.
And the Johnson & Johnson is just one shot, so it's like one shot, and then 2 weeks later you're good to go.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm not on a list yet, but I want to get on that because I know that it's there are like lists available now.
I'm on several lists, but so my group just became available as of last Friday.
Okay, all right.
Because I work out in the field, so I service draft beer systems, and one of my coworkers just told me that he's like, oh, if you register as a grocery worker, you'll get in. I was like, I'm not a fucking grocery worker. I don't really want to like deprive somebody of a vaccine, but it's like, technically I am eligible, but it's all about how they're doing this messy rollout process. And I'm like, I'm not going to, but I'm so tempted to be like, yes, I'll just say I'm a grocery worker, I guess, because I work with beer. So I guess, but
I feel like there's a lot of gray area. I have a lot of friends in LA that are kind of running into that too, where it's sort of like, it's like there's a ton of gray area. I think that it's like if you fit within that gray area, it's like totally fine.
Yeah.
But like I feel like where it gets me is when I have people that are like, if you lie and say that you have this health condition, they'll give it to you without asking or something.
Oh yeah,
like, that's when it's like, don't do that.
Yeah. Like it's like a weed card or something.
Yeah.
Like, I have a headache. Give me weed.
I definitely have glaucoma.
It's not the same, Yeah.
Although if you could smoke the Pfizer vaccine, I feel like more people would.
Actually,
that's such a great idea.
You might be onto something.
If you could do the Johnson and Johnson as a vape, like I feel like.
Oh my god!
Oh dude, let's freebase some Moderna right here.
We'd have this vaccine done in weeks. Yeah,
and there'd be a lot of like, hey, you only can do it once. Don't stop. Don't take another hit of that Pfizer.
Right? You want to take another one? It's like, no. You can only take one,
probably
otherwise,
not good for you. Otherwise, you might get
sick.
Not good for you.
I don't know how this works exactly, but you don't want to do it twice in a row. I don't think there's a reason they got those gaps.
We completely ignored the real mechanism. Like we're having like pharmaceutical companies distribute this vaccine, and they're failing at it. And like, actually, we should have given it to the Mexican drug cartels, and it would be in like every high school in America already. It would be perfect.
Yeah, if you could like,
there we go.
If you could like snort it and you make it seem like you're dangerous for doing.
Yes, exactly. We need to make the vaccine fun and dangerous.
Yes, that's what
AstraZeneca's for.
The vaccine needs to seem fun and dangerous.
We need somehow to appeal to the Florida market, and what better way than fun and dangerous? dangerous.
So start spreading the rumor that you made your trip for 2 days, and then we'll be good. Like,
yeah, but like a good trip, not a bad trip.
Yeah, no bath salt stuff. Like that's we don't want.
Well,
we
you're
don't
talking
want.
about the Florida mark. You might want the bath salt stuff. Like,
I don't know. I don't know if it's still
It's
big
like-
down there, but
It's like, yo, you like, it's like, I mean, I feel like One Hit Wonder sounds like a drug name.
that's true.
Yo, it's like, yo, you like smoking bath salts? Why don't you trade that in for some One Hit Wonder?
I've definitely heard that said in certain settings. Yes. But we have you here today to talk about.
Speaking of Florida and other states.
Yeah, I was about to say that's what kind of got the mind jogging. You did a project called the Our 50 States Project near the beginning of the pandemic last year. You started right at like March, right? You put out the call.
So I'll walk you through the timeline. So
Okay.
I basically decided that it would be very funny to finish Sufjan Stevens' ill-fated 50 States Project, where he said he was going to make an album for every U.S. state, and he gave up after 2 albums because he's a coward.
Yes,
and
indeed he is.
And so I put out I this is an idea that I'd had brewing probably since around like 2015, 2016. I was working for a comedy website, and I think that like I was like walking past a water cooler, and I'd heard some of my friends and coworkers talking to each other about Sufjan Stevens, and I just had not thought about him since probably 2006, 2007, when I was like in college, and I heard people at college parties talking about like the Illinois album or whatever.
Yeah.
So I asked them like, "Oh, Sufjan Stevens, I haven't thought of him in a while. How's his 50 States Project going?" And they were like, "He stopped at the one album you listened to in 2007."
Oh, so you weren't aware?
I was
all
not
these
aware.
Years.
I was not aware of the 10 year of the 2009 him giving up on it. And they were, and like everybody that I was talking to was like sore about it because they were like, "I wish there was a Washington album," and I was like, "Me too." So I was like a little bit annoyed by this, and I think like 20 minutes later, I worked the comedy website I worked at. Everybody else were all super funny LA comedians, improvisers, comedy musicians, and stuff.
Yeah.
And I started to think, hey, would it be funny if like a bunch of LA comedians just finished Sufjan Stevens' Our 50 States Project in like a weekend? And like the songs don't have to be good. It just has to be done. So we started like kind of figuring out, okay, like what would that work? How would that look? How could you even logistically release 50 albums? You know, if it's 50 albums, is that like
it's a
many
big
songs
undertaking
is that per album? Who's doing the album artwork? Like, just like what is the logistic? Like, how could you, if you had like different groups of 10 people who were each given 1 hour to like write lyrics, like one song each they have 10 minutes per song. Could you just like blaze through writing all the lyrics for an album in an hour? And then pass it on to a room of musicians who have an hour to just really quickly and hastily record whatever the thing is.
Oh man.
So like, there was a lot of, thoughts over the, like, and I even pitched it to a couple places of like how logistically this would work. And, I think that it just seemed like it was something that would take like an insane amount of man hour, regardless of how you did it. So I kind of just put it out of my mind for probably like, like a couple of years. Every year or two, I'd think about it. Bring it up at a party is a thing that I think would be funny to do. Even like as late as like early 2020, late 2019, I was thinking, oh, it might be fun to do that as like a podcast where, like every episode you record a song or something like that. And then after 500 episodes, you finish it. And I think I even wrote like a draft email to some of my comedy musician friends that was like, hey, wouldn't any of you want to do this? And then I got busy, had a couple things going on, started working on a Quibi show, rest in peace Quibi, that is no longer with us.
I remember, I recall the Quibi.
Yeah, R.I.P. Oh, it was only around for a quick bite, but it was a good bite.
R.I.P. the golden arm.
Yeah. R.I.P. the golden arm. Yeah.
You want to see one thing on Quibi? I don't know if you have a preference, but
and it's just like, the only clips I've seen are just like, I love my golden arm, and I'm like, I love that golden arm too.
It's pretty cool, I guess, but it's very, very strange.
But I was like writing on a Quibi show. It was like a daily variety show that it like shut down due to the pandemic. So we kind of knew that it was our last day around May 12th, 13th, somewhere around there.
Okay.
And I was like driving home from that, and while I was driving home, I like had the realization of, oh, like I'm now unemployed. All of the comedy theaters in LA are shut down. So many of my friends are also now unemployed because shooting isn't
Yeah.
happening, or like
Yeah.
filming isn't
Definitely.
happening right now.
Yeah.
And it just struck me of like, oh, this might be weirdly a good time to do the R50 States project thing. And like I spent the next couple of days just kind of thinking about like, oh, what is that? One, that seems like a big job. Do I really want to like
Yeah.
bite that off? And
Uh-huh.
then two, it's like, what is that? How does that work logistically? Do I
Yeah.
set up an email
Yeah.
account? What is it? Like
Uh-huh.
how do I organize 500 plus musicians
Definitely.
working on songs or whatever? And I
Yeah.
kind of like pieced it together, wrote, and like basically what to me felt like a really simple blurb of what I was looking for, sent it to a
Mhm.
couple of my friends to proofread, and basically like, am I like the right kind of crazy doing this or the wrong kind of
Yeah.
crazy wanting to do this? And they were all like, oh, the right kind of crazy. And I was like, sick. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So then, or I think it was like March 18th of last year, I finally like posted my like image saying, hey, are you a musician or a comedian, or do you have any free time?
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
finish Sufjan Stevens' 50 States project. And then very quickly, I think within a day, I got like 200 emails from people that were like interested. And then I was
Yeah.
just like, okay, got to open up an Excel spreadsheet. And this is how I'm spending 10 hours a day for the next 2 months.
I can't
Yeah.
believe you produced 50 albums. And I mean,
It was 50,
how long did
50
it take?
52 albums and no, 53 albums and 2 EPs.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Because we also did, because Rhode Island was a double album.
Yep.
We released
Yep.
an album for the Moon, an album for an album that was just for the territories, and then a Washington D.C. EP and a Puerto Rico EP.
I didn't get to hear Puerto Rico. I did the Moon and DC. Those were great.
I did Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
We split up the whole project into 3 and marathon through our sections. So we've actually done. I don't know if you're seeing the stream, but we are doing a top 15 of the 50 States project, and we actually have 5 prepared for the segment with you. Just like of all the ones we thought represented the project like really, really well.
Okay, is it top 15 states or top 15 songs?
Songs, and
Oh,
each
I'm
is
excited.
from
I'm
a
excited
different
about
state.
this.
So yeah, we've. Do you want to know what the first 10 were? We
Yeah, breaking
listened
through
to
the top 10. I'm excited.
Yeah, so this is what we've listened to so far. We have South Carolina's Superfund Times by the Lake.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah, we each of these are going through each of our picks.
Bit serious, but it was good.
Yeah, there's some that are like very like could work absolutely on their own without
it wove the two together.
Yeah.
Was
nicely,
your
I
approach to
think.
this complete the project from Sufjan Stevens, or was it more let's do a comedy approach to this? Because I recall that you did mostly comedic style writing and production before this, as far as I understood. So
Yeah, so I guess that for me, it was mainly like, it was mainly like, how can I dunk on Sufjan Stevens in the best way possible? How can I use
Yeah.
everybody's pandemic time to dunk on a folk musician?
Oh yeah,
And
you do a great job with that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And within that, there was a very broad thing that I was asking for. This is a lot of what I was kind of thinking about of how this would logistically work. Is like,
Yeah.
it felt like the less constraints that I put on anybody submitting songs for it, and these were random people from the internet that were submitting songs and friends of mine and stuff like that.
Yeah,
the less
yeah.
constraints I put on it, the more likely it was to get finished. So I didn't
Oh, yeah,
put any
good point.
requirements of like it has to be funny or it has to be serious or it has to even be good or even sound like music.
Yeah.
Like a friend of mine, Matt Mazzani, he's not a musician, but he's a good friend and he was looking for stuff to do. And so he recorded a song for Alaska that was just him doing mouth sounds of what Alaska sounds like.
Oh
And
yeah,
he pitched
I
that to me, and
recall.
I was like, sounds good.
I recall that one.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that submitted songs for it that are not musicians that had never done music before. Like I think that for the Louisiana album, I got an email from just like a mom from Louisiana that was like, my kids love Sufjan Stevens, and can my kids make a song for it? So her 6-year-old kids made like a song for it, like with a xylophone about how they've always wanted to visit Louisiana because they saw it on a state quarter and thought it looked cool. And I was like, great,
Yeah.
there's like I feel like it really crosses like kind of every genre, and like by making it open, I think it it weirdly feels like a good representation of either people's personal attachments to each state or what
Yeah.
people's perceived notions are on each state,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
Moon album feels really big, or feels really
Mhm.
vast, like the
Yeah.
the Rhode Island Rhode Island double albums are like, on some level respecting Rhode Island, but also a lot of like, this state is small, like,
Yeah, I was about to say, so is that an intentional joke, the fact that that's the only state that has 2 albums? Like,
oh yeah, the smallest state has to have the biggest
yeah,
album.
I loved the fact that there was 2 just for Rhode Island. I was like, yeah. I don't know anything about Rhode Island, but yeah, Reese, I think, listened to that
I
one,
listened
right?
to both, and
Yeah.
Not Everything Is Small in Rhode Island was hilarious. Just like, just a song, a bunch of dick jokes, and
Yeah,
yeah.
that was written by Mike Hughes, who is not a musician. He's just like an LA comedian who like, I think that he recorded one song for New Jersey where he's from, and then he just had fun, so he recorded like 5 more songs. Like he's got a song on the Delaware album that's probably one of my favorites, that's like, it takes just 20 minutes to make it through Delaware or something.
Oh yeah.
And it's
yeah.
So yeah, like, and that was something that was really cool about the project, is like, I organized it with basically via, I had like an Excel spreadsheet that was like color coded. And whenever anybody would email saying that they wanted to submit, I would like, I would basically, I released the project in stages where it's like, I think after a month, I released the first 26 albums. Then after the next 2 weeks, I released the next. That's how I felt, like staying up late every night, putting it together, where I was like, I'm releasing 26 full albums in 3 days. I better like get somebody to make album artwork. Also,
it might
like
be
putting
the
all
most
this
aggressive like production schedule I've ever heard of for anything, period, musically. Like,
well, I was about to say, it really does, I think, capture that point in the pandemic. It captures that kind of like that uncertainty, that kind of madness before, like, we kind of got
Manic
used
energy.
to the pandemic at some point, for the most part. But like, yeah, I think that this is like almost a therapeutic project that, even looking back now,
I started a
I have
YouTube.
Yeah, I started doing
June,
weekly podcasts rather than like every other week, and like more dispersed. Like I was like, oh well,
I didn't produce
got a lot of
anything
free
useful.
time now. And you made some sourdough. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you probably made the better choice. Sourdough's great.
Yeah, homemade.
I think the 50 States
Fresh.
Project's a lot more enduring. I mean,
yeah, but wait, did you name your sourdough starter?
oh yeah, no, I had I actually have given them out to everybody. So I had Bilbo, and then there was Frodo, and then Samwise, Merry, and Pippin. So
hell yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, that's like, that to me is part of it too, of like doing this project, is it was therapeutic. It was very therapeutic for me to do it, just because it gave me like a thing to focus on that wasn't like, we don't know about this disease that's taking over the globe.
Yeah.
And and so basically, like, if y'all are gamers, are you familiar with like XCOM 2?
I know of it.
Yeah.
I'm
familiar with the
a
XCOM
casual.
games, the fighting aliens. Yeah.
So
I
like,
never played them very much. I played the old school one.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, my schedule for probably the first month and a half of the pandemic was wake up at 8 a.m., open up the R50 States Project email address, like wipe sweat off my forehead, take my living room recliner, put the seat all the way back, put the laptop in my lap, open up the spreadsheet, and be like, let's do this. And then I would do that for probably 10 to 12 hours a day, like replying to emails, like listening to songs, trying to put things in some level of order, tracking like, okay, like how many pitches do I have, sending people follow-ups if they didn't make deadlines and stuff like that. Just the organizational producing aspect of it. Like, and then around 6 p.m. I would be like, now I must save the planet. And I would start up XCOM 2 and play that until like midnight. And it was like, that was my schedule. Was like, I would pretty much like do Sufjan stuff from like 8 a.m. until 5 or 6. And then I would open up XCOM and do that for another 8 hours. And that's just how I did a month and a half of the pandemic.
That's
That's awesome.
It's pretty similar to what I did during those
Hell
times
yeah.
of the pandemic. Yeah, I completed an audiobook, which was like my goal or whatever for the summer, and that took more time than it should have. Now that I have a little more like skill on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have the same. I have like a squad of guys that I grew up with that I go on like when I'm done doing anything productive, and I played Division 2, which is actually very similar to the world we're living in. It's post-pandemic. It's taking place in the DC. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to the wastelands of the pandemic.
Yeah, it's like now I have to start my second job, searching for scrap metal.
Yeah, we do actually call it clocking in when we start playing. So yeah, that's accurate.
But it was like I feel like the experience of putting it together was really therapeutic for me,
Mhm.
and something that like I didn't really intend in putting together, but was like a cool side effect is like a lot of people doing the project would email me and thank me for giving them something to take their mind off of all this stuff.
Yeah.
So like I do feel like it was like weirdly like my initial intent was, hey, it would be funny to dunk on Sufjan Stevens, but like beyond that, it just became I think like group therapy for me and 250 other strangers, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, seriously, I was one of those like college Sufjan fans, and I was also like one of the people that was really bummed because I was like, oh man, like it seemed like Wisconsin was probably really close if they're going to Michigan and then Illinois. Wisconsin's got to be one of the next ones, And I was one of those people that was like kind of bummed for a long time that like he didn't finish them because like there's once that he opened that kind of Pandora's box of that idea. Everyone was like, "Oh, I want my own modern pop folk album."
Like in 2015, when I was asking my friends around the water cooler, like, "Oh, has he finished the 50 States project yet?" Really, my question was, "Has he made a Washington album yet?"
Right. Yeah, because like you do want to see what his take would be because it's it's pretty good folk pop, whatever genre you want to call it.
And let's be honest, it's not that far of a walk to finish 50 States because a lot of the albums that we've explored in our podcast are at least in name representative of
sometimes just in name
of states.
Yeah.
I was sometimes say, just in name very much, but
that's the big difference between your project and our project with this podcast is like we're trying to basically use albums that already exist to complete it. But what we're finding is that albums that are named states are often just named the state and have nothing to do whatsoever with that state in the lyrics or any of the content. Like, it's just like this band's from, well, like Slipknot. There was like, they had the, angry white people rural thing going, but like, it was also not... It didn't talk about any landmarks or any like, you know what I mean?
Mention corn once.
Yeah,
One of my ideas when I made this call on Twitter, I wasn't sure what the response was going to be, or if like anybody other than a couple comedians from LA were going to do it. So I had a couple of like backup plans to pad things out if I needed to. Like, and one of them was I was going to take Slipknot's Iowa album and just flip it, so play it in reverse and call it like Ooh-Wee-Ah or something. Boom, got the Iowa album done.
And
like the album cover would have been like Slipknot's Iowa, but like reversed, so it's backwards. And I'm like, done.
Yes,
took
that's
awesome.
Exactly.
I didn't have to do that, but I was definitely thinking about like, it's like, oh, maybe North Dakota will just be me reading the North Dakota Wikipedia page over like a garage band loop or whatever.
Well, that's what I like. There are some tracks like that though. There are some tracks where it's like they even, some of them they even say in the song, "I'm not from this state. I don't know anything about it," and then they make their own tune or whatever.
Yeah, it was great.
The Dakotas and Wyoming, somebody also pulled from Wikipedia directly. So I guess my question to you was like, okay, how much did you produce anything song wise for these albums was one thing that I wanted to know. And then also, how much did you curate the submissions and how much was it like, let's use everything? Did you get like hundreds of submissions for New York, or was it like you had exactly what you ended up using? I was curious.
So what I ended up doing, a lot of this was a lot of this was, I think, like just steering man hours, if that makes sense. So by that I mean like, what I told people, basically the way that I set it up is anybody that emailed me, I sent them like a long email blast of what the project was, what I was looking for, etc. With a lot of it being like, it could be whatever, but like, you know, it's like, do you want to do a dubstep song about Bernie Sanders for Vermont? Go nuts. Like,
I love
do you
that
want to do a song where you just talk about how Mississippi's hard to spell? Do it. Like spoken word poetry about like, I don't know, the Del Taco in like South Washington State. Sure. Like, so it was less, I think, curation and more, I told everybody in that email blast that if they wanted to do it, email me with like the title of the state that you want to do as the subject line of the email, and then 3 very loose ideas for songs. So, you know, like that could be something as in-depth as writing me like a couple of sentences describing what the song is, or it could just be like the Space Needle in Seattle's weird. And I'm like, great, you know. So I tried to do the smallest amount of curation in that regard of like people emailing me like, you know, anywhere from like 1 to 5 ideas, and me kind of saying like, okay, probably do this one because I already have a song for that state being worked on about this one. And then it gave me an easy opportunity to like, if somebody finished a song saying, hey, why don't you start on this other song for the state?
Yeah,
and
so
then,
you kind of like directed it.
It was
directed
more like
the flow of it.
It was more like directing the flow of it. And I tried to do cutoffs where like once a state had 8 tracks that were finished, I kind of called it like, okay, that state's done. And there are a couple states that had like, because like 8 tracks to me felt like, oh, that feels like an album length, and 4 tracks feels like so like, then there are definitely some albums that are longer than that. The Moon album, I think, is like 12 or 13 tracks or 15 tracks or something like that. But like, I tried to keep it at like 8 to 10, just so once somebody finished a state, like once I got to 8 or 10, I could email all the people that did that state and say, hey, this was fun. Do you want to do a song for another state? And then like direct them to help finish the Texas state or the North Dakota state or something.
That's really cool.
So it was a lot of like being aware of like, oh, if I don't cap it, I'll get 50 California songs and 0 Arkansas songs. But if I could like say, hey, the California album is done. Would you like to do a song about any of these states that are still looking for songs? And usually, you know, 9 times out of 10, people would say like, yeah, sure, I'll do a song for Georgia or whatever, you know? So it's kind of that, directing it with definitely the goal being of like, oh, how can I get this done in the most efficient and fast way possible?
Well, and we appreciate that a lot, because like we had the same thing when we were putting together this idea. Was we're like, all right, well, obviously there's a million albums for California.
So many.
So we chose to do North and South Dakota using your albums, you know, because it's like we're probably not going to find North and South Dakota albums that are not just, you know, random weird indie, I don't know, which is fine. But like, you know, it wasn't our project. But so we're going to probably come back to yours when we like, you know, come dry on certain states. We're gonna be like, well, we got a few from the Joey Clift album because you did the work.
Well, one of my favorite things about the North Dakota album is it got like a review in a local North Dakota newspaper.
What? That's so cool. How did that happen?
I think it's just nobody'd written an album about North Dakota, and they were like, "Oh, like North Dakota is represented in this RP6 project. Here's a review of all the songs."
Oh my goodness! So wow,
and it was like a printed out, like it's online, but it was just so funny to me.
Like I just want to imagine North Dakotans listening to this. Because I mean, it's not, you know, because some of them are like, you know, some of them are like raunchy, some of them are like, you know, not necessarily like what's the word, flattering towards each state, you know. But oh my god, I would just assume it would be just an alien thing if you're like in the middle of the mountains in Montana or North Dakota, and like you jump into this. But yeah, that's really cool that it was in the paper. Like,
mostly plains and rolling hills.
Yeah, there was a lot of
Right.
like, this song's literally
I
just
don't-
the
I have no idea.
Mandalorian soundtrack, but like,
Oh yeah,
it's literally the theme from the Mandalorian with somebody saying "Oil War" over it.
yeah, that one was fun. Yeah,
That was
yeah,
fun.
yeah. Like he's just like, just take that. That's it. I got it. It's
I was
done.
like, great,
Cut
counts
it.
as a song. Technically,
yeah.
technically that gets me closer to 8.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah, yeah. No, that's what I liked about it, is it did have that, like we've been saying a little bit, it's had that mix of like, there's certain songs that are very like kind of tongue in cheek, but like really like well produced and like saying some serious things. Like we were just talking about before
Super
the
fun.
break.
Yeah.
We were talking about the DC one and about, kind of the statehood aspect of DC and that kind of complicated issue. But yeah, there's a few of them that you really, get into some interesting stuff, and then there's like, your really funny stuff to like really break it up. That it's just, I really liked the stories with no music behind them. Those were some of my
Same.
favorite tracks. Like, so bizarre, like some of them harrowing. But yeah, we didn't pick any for our top 15 just because like we wanted to pick the music tracks or whatever. But,
Washington, the Dalles or Dallas, I never know how to say that word. That one, the story about the hitchhiker getting picked up who has super strength, that one almost made the cut. And for some reason, like the back, like the full sound thing, I was like, oh, this doesn't quite make the top 5 for me, but damn it, it's funny. Or like,
yeah, picking the top 5 was tough. Like there was definitely some contenders.
Well, that's something that was really interesting about the project is like, I didn't necessarily know what I was gonna get, and I didn't necessarily know people's music levels or like kind of where they were in terms of ability.
Yeah.
So there are definitely some songs like the 20 it takes just 20 minutes to make it through Delaware, where Mike Hughes legit just like found a copyright free track on YouTube and like sang it into his like laptop microphone or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's like there's a lot of people where it's like, oh, they recorded this in their iPhone 5 minutes after coming up with the idea, and they were like, great, it's good to go.
Yeah.
But then there were also like really great musicians. Like I think Jackie Johnson is a super funny podcaster who recorded a song for Texas that she like spent like a week where like she spent a week producing it and scoring it and doing a really good job on it. We also had
which Texas song was that?
That was the In the Back of My Mama's Truck.
Oh my God, I love that one.
Yeah. And then there's like Britt Ashford is a really great, singer-songwriter, Broadway actress who had a song for Arkansas, and she's like a Broadway actress. Like Stealth Holbang from the Lumineers recorded songs for the
It wasn't Arkansas, was it?
Nah, that was a guy named Brian Hitchcock who just
Okay.
emailed me, Arkansas, that's something, right? And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
It's like we had like
It should be a thing.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, sounds like it. That's all I need.
Should be a festival, honestly. Like
honestly,
Ska Fest in Arkansas. Fuck it.
But yeah, like it was cool to see like there were definitely like super beginner musicians and like a member of the Lumineers who like submitted songs for it,
That's very cool. Like I was wondering about that. Yeah, I was wondering if you had any there was any that were like, musicians that we knew, because there was a few times that like I recognized like a voice here and there, but I couldn't quite put it together. Like
or
one
do you
sounded
suspect a pseudonym somewhere? Like, oh, this was
one sounded kind of like Speedy Ortiz. I was gonna say there was a song that they were either copying the style of Speedy Ortiz or it was Speedy Ortiz, but who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you know?
The ones that I know were definitely by like I would say, like more more established musicians.
Yeah,
would be like Stealth Holbang from the Lumineers, Britt Ashford, and James Adomian. I reached out to him and had him record a bunch of songs for Minnesota.
Wait, did he do the California's Gold?
No, that was a comedian named John Grant. He basically just took samples of this guy named Huell Hauser, who's like
who
like
James Adomian earlier in Comedy Bang Bang, James Adomian used to play Huell Hauser.
Yeah,
so that's why I thought, is this James Adomian?
I didn't get him for that, but I did get him for I did get him from Minnesota.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to listen to that one. I wasn't subscribed to that one, but I used to love James Adomian on early CBB.
He's super nice and like he's super funny and like the nicest guy. Like we we know each other a little bit through the comedy scene. We've been on the same bills for shows and stuff, kind of being around the UCB community.
Yeah.
And like, I just sent him a Twitter DM that was like, "Will you do your Jesse Ventura voice to like host the Minnesota album for this thing?"
Yeah.
And he got back to me and he was like, "Hell yeah!" And I was also like,
"That's great.
Oh, that takes care of 3 tracks on that album."
Oh yeah. I'm definitely gonna take a listen to that now because I'm sure that rounds that out quite nicely.
That's one of the ones I listened to, and it was great. And I love James Adomian, and my wife loves James Adomian, and yeah.
Yeah. He's one of the best improv people on podcasts, at least. Like I've never seen his live whatever, but I love his characters on.
He's just like he's one of the best like character guys in in terms of impressions in like the world.
Yeah, no, he gets into it. Like he really like loses himself in his characters, man.
Right.
But yeah, no, when I heard the Huell Hauser thing, I'm like, wait, is this actually Huell Hauser? Is this because he sounds it kind of makes James Adomian's impression even better that's actually Huell Hauser because I was like, I couldn't tell. You know?
Yeah, no, that was I think that was actually Huell Hauser because I think
because he's talking about California's Gold, which is the show, you know, so yeah. But I was gonna say, do you want to get to any of the rest of these?
I gotta hear.
Top
I gotta
15.
hear
I don't want
where my babies rank.
Yeah. I don't want to keep you too long.
I totally sidetracked that too.
No, dude, it's all good.
No, that's good. That's cool.
But number 14. Okay, so number 15, if you remember, is South Carolina Super Fun Times by the Lake. Number 14, we have Missouri T-Ravs or Toasted Ravs.
Yeah, that's a super fun one. I like that.
Yeah. I enjoyed that.
There's a lot of food overall, and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
right. Especially mine.
Yeah,
I like food.
In general, I think our picks have about half food. I think. We have for 13, we have Iowa corn. Just the song "Corn."
Great.
Because I felt like that represented just the Midwest section of the country very well in general. You know.
Right.
Then for number 12, we have Vermont smoking shitty weed on Robert Frost's grave. Yeah.
Yes.
That was the title for me.
Yeah. Alabama, by the way, the first album, all instrumental, very good listen. I don't care, what you're into. It's just, I was very I didn't expect it all instrumental to start out.
Oh yeah, that was another. There were 2 albums where I just reached out to friends of mine who are good musicians and said, "Will you record an entire album about this state?" And
That's awesome.
One of them was Idaho from a really great musician named Joe Porter.
Okay.
Who basically was like, "Can I do an entire album about Idaho, but it's really about that episode of The Simpsons where like Ralph Wiggum dresses like Idaho and says, 'I'm Idaho.'" And I'm like, "Is it 8 tracks?" And he's like, "It will be." And I was like, "Sick." And then
that might have went over my head.
It was great. It was like, it was weirdly a musical about that episode of The Simpsons.
That's pretty cool. I'm going to revisit that.
And the Alabama album was entirely done by a friend of mine named Levi Didibrandt, who's in a really great industrial band called The Glass Shore. And he's a guy that I'm friends with him. And I was just like, "Hey, will you record an entire album about Alabama?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. Why not? Can it be instrumental?" And I was like, "Yeah."
And I really enjoyed it. Like, I mean, like seriously, like just if you're someone that needs something to listen to in the background of something, of whatever you're doing, and lyrics get in the way, great listen. But yeah, then we have number 11. We had Nebraska's "I'm Only Really Here for the Steaks."
Oh, that was fun. I like that song.
Yeah. We all know the Omaha Steaks. Number 10, we have Indiana FAC. Do you remember what that one's about?
What was that one about?
Fucking a cow.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking a cow.
Allegedly.
Yeah, the guy that sent me that one also sent me a music video that you made for that song.
What?
Was it graphic?
Please tell me that's somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, it's let me
that's actually you put it up on like YouTube or something?
I think that he put it up on YouTube.
Okay, he was just like, I don't even care. This is just this needs to be out there in the ether.
Yeah, let me so like what I'll do is I'll email it to you.
Yes.
I think you posted it on Twitter. For
Yeah.
you, like you can post it on the social media for the thing.
Yeah,
but it's,
yeah,
it's
and we'll
not
post a link.
graphic. It's not.
Drop it in
does
our
not
chat,
show a
yeah.
man actually having sex with a cow.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I would hope that'd be hard footage to find. You know.
Yeah.
But no, we'll have it in the description though. Whenever you're listening, if you're listening to this in the future, we will definitely have a link to whatever that is in the description.
It's fun. It's good.
That's so cool though that he was so inspired, or they were so inspired that they just went all the way and made a music video. Was there anyone else that did something like that? Or
Yeah, there's probably. I think that in the end, there's probably. I want to say 10 different songs that have music videos.
Wow, okay.
And
That's
these
more
are
than
just
I would
people
expect.
who were, yeah. Like, I mean, me too, because I did not ask for these. They just said, "Can I do it?" And I was like, "Sure, go for it." Like, yeah, I think that there's like 10 random music videos for different songs floating around, and they're all delightful.
Well, we were thinking like "Go Fago Go" would make a good like there could be a good music video with like a bunch of juggalos doing a musical number, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be so great.
So number 10 was FAC, or was that
Number 10 is FAC? Yes. Number 9 we have from Rhode Island 1, which is "The Turtle Who Died."
That's also a top 10 song for me.
Oh,
it's
so
just
good.
a good song.
It is, yeah, because
unironically great,
really well produced,
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
They put themselves in the mindset of a dying turtle on a beach and wrote a whole song from that point of view, and it's great. It's kind of macabre. It's like really, it's a little gross, and then it's also really heartfelt too. It's like, I was here first. I'm 105 years old, and I'm gonna die on this beach. Damn you.
Yeah, like that was another one of those where I think that the musicians for that who emailed me and just said, "Hey, can we do a song for Rhode Island about a dead turtle on a beach?" And I was like, "Sure, don't know what it's going to be. Are you going to read a Wikipedia page about turtles? Whatever it is, it'll count as a song." And they sent me just like the most beautiful thing.
It's so good. It's really well written.
And it's like that was like such a cool part of the project, is like not knowing what I was going to get with every track, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say you do get like, you know, a handful of the, you know, ukulele and singing combo on the iPhone or something, because, you know, that's the most accessible way to create a song for most people. But this one, like, of all the ukulele vocal things, I think this one was the most, like, production wise, you know, one of my favorites. It just, you know, it works as a song like outside of the project. Like, that's the thing. I think a lot of these like maybe half of these could work outside of the project. Some of these are very specific to the project.
Right.
But I think that some of these though, like, you know, get you earworms, like they get stuck in your head. Like, there's some really good tracks. Like, I think at least there's one, like, you know, serviceable, like, you know, track that could go on the radio per album, you know.
I agree. I think that like the ratio of legitimately great songs to is like, it's like higher than you think it would be, but it was like, that was a cool part about it. So that was number 9. So what's number 8?
Number 8 is Michigan's "Go Fago Go," which I mentioned before.
Great, good song.
Number 7 is Arizona's "Cactus in My Ass."
That was another banger. I love that song.
Such a banger. It's just that was stuck in my ear, you know.
Yeah.
Then number 6 is "DC Doesn't Have," and that's as far as we got on the countdown, and we have 5 clips for you if you want to go through these last 5 with us.
I'm excited. Let's do it.
So this is New Mexico's "Requiem for an Alien." Here's the clip that we picked. One second.
You strapped me to a chair with wires and told me you were going to hack my brain. You tried and you tried and you tried before you declared I didn't have the necessary brain activity. You took me back and laid me on my bed. Every night I go to my window and call for you. Alien, oh alien, I miss you.
Love it. Perfect.
Is that, by the way, is that too loud or is that good volume for you guys?
It's good. It's good for me.
Okay, cool. But yeah, that one was just like, yeah, really another really good production one. Just like, and New Mexico, of course.
Hilarious.
Yeah, a lot of alien stuff, of course. But yeah. Great track. But yeah, the next one we have is number 4, which is Florida, and this is We Don't Know How to Vote. couldn't love this one anymore, I think, but here is the clip that we chose for that.
But don't leave important things to a Florida woman or Florida man. Ooh, we don't know how to vote. And our elected officials don't know how to count. Is it all the sun or the bath salt zombies on the run? We don't know, but next time we'll try. But we'll still most likely vote for some dumb straight male who happens to be white.
Just beautiful.
Yeah, something that I love about this project is like, it's definitely, there's a mix of pitches from people that were like clearly a letter of love to a state. And then there are songs like that where it's just like, I hate the state so much. And I'm like, oh yeah, we contain multitudes.
I like that.
Which one of those?
Yeah, no, I like that. It has that dichotomy of songs, because some of them, like, I think, and some of them are kind of in the middle where they're like ribbing on the state that they're from, like there's a lot of like, songs about being in a hodunk town or Walmart town or stuff involving Walmart or Fago, especially, middle America.
Right. Totally.
But yeah, there's some that are like this one, like it is tongue in cheek, but it's like, this could also kind of be on an album with other songs similar to it, like.
Yeah. It's like, I think that it's, and I think that that's like a cool part of the project is there are so many songs.
Yeah.
Where like I think there's a song on New Mexico. I forget the title of it, but I think it might be the first track. That's just like, oh, this is just a beautiful song.
Yeah. No. I'm glad that people took it so seriously when they made these, I wish I would have heard about the project too, like, because I would have been one of the submitters as well, because I was, similar state. I was bored with with my sound equipment, like, oh, what do I do with this studio now? I can't have anyone in here.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a really, really great track though. And obviously highlighting a really horrible problem that every 4 years, for some reason, Florida is like the person that makes the, one of the states that makes the big decision in presidential runs or whatever.
Right. Totally.
Yeah. So great commentary. And the next track we have is Ohio's I Don't See Any God Up Here. So,
oh yeah, this is a good one.
I love this one.
Really enjoyed this.
The motherland sees, the motherland knows where sun flies in the sky, but everyone else is looking at Neil Armstrong. They're looking at Neil Armstrong on the moon. And everyone else is looking at Neil Armstrong. They're looking at Neil Armstrong on the moon.
So that was one of the first songs that I got, and it's by Jackson Lansing, who's just a really great writer. He's written for like Star Trek projects and a lot of other things.
Oh, okay.
And he's primarily, like.
Oh no.
Oh,
Joey.
Like,
shit.
Oh,
you're back.
I think I might have got that song. Oh, sorry, did I blink out?
I think you blinked out for
5 seconds.
Yeah,
oh,
last
okay,
like
cool,
5.
Cool, great.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's primarily like like a TV writer, sci-fi writer guy, and he like that was one of the first songs that was pitched and one of the first songs that I got back. And like that for me was kind of the first song that where like after listening to it, the project made sense to me in the sense of like, some of the songs are going to be good.
Yeah. You were
so good.
Yeah. You were just casting this wide net just because let's finish this up. We have all this time.
It was like, there's some actual fish in this ball of garbage.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I was talking to these guys earlier. Like, I think that you could take, one track from each and like try to actually like make an album or press it or something. Cause like, they're like, cause like I said,
music.
Sufjan opened that Pandora's box of like people wanting like newer, fresher songs about their state. Because we all have songs about our state. Like we all have one that's assigned to our state, but like they're all boring, old, outdated, whatevers. But yeah, so I think that, no matter who you are, you can come to this project and you can like check out your own state and get something out of it, Yeah. We have two more, by the way. We have number 2 is Maryland crabs. So let's see.
This is a good one.
Yeah, this is a fun one. So here we go.
Crabs. Maryland gives me crabs. Oh, Maryland gives me crabs. Oh, Maryland gives me crabs. All crusted up with Old Bay seasoning. Maryland gives me crabs. Maryland gives me crabs. Maryland gives me crabs. Served on old brown paper tablecloths. Yeah, Maryland gives me crabs.
I think the Maryland album, one of my favorite parts about it is I think there are 2 songs about Maryland crabs on that one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like, I think that there's like a song about like crab rolls and then a song about crabs regularly. And that's how I justify in my mind of it being okay that there was more than one.
There should be more than one. That makes sense.
They are really big on their crabs in Maryland. Yeah. They have like I've listened.
It even has a hint of personal preference.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Old Bay seasonings.
Hold the tartar sauce.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the tartar sauce.
Yeah. And it kind of reminded me of I don't know if you ever saw it. It was a Weeble Stuff video called "I've Got a Big Bag of Crabs." That have similar kind of vibe, but it was like, I've got a big bag of crabs here. But it just went on a loop. But yeah, very Weeble Stuff vibe. If you know the early internet flash
animation.
Yeah, flash animation person that I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah, really just over the top, really fun thing going on, and with the kind of almost 80s-ish guitar production going on. But yeah, fun track, really
great.
fun track. Yeah.
So this number 1 we got?
Number 1. So this one, I was floored by this one, but this is
very excited about, because like you've touched on a lot of tracks that I love, but like there's also a lot that I've like loved that aren't on the list. So I'm like, which one is it going to be?
It was hard. It was hard to pick the 15. It really was.
I think we all had a top 15 overall too, and like there's a long list of tracks that I've got bookmarked that I'm going back to listen to again too that didn't make this cut. So
like Coke Bitch, that was one of the ones that was almost making the cut.
Coke Bitch, that was made by the same guy who made FAC Dane Bowling.
Oh, okay, that fits.
I found the music video and I sent it to you, so you can post it whenever.
Oh, nice. Nate, you want to post that on the chat or something? Wait, did you email it to me?
Oh, I just sent it on Twitter DM.
Oh, all right, cool. I got it.
Yeah.
But the first one, I will tally no further. This is Delaware. Ain't no taxes in Delaware.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every corporation
Yeah, that song by Evan Watkins, who's a really great metal musician / comedian actor guy based out of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
He's in a really good like comedy death metal band called Hellcross. And he was one of those guys where when he reached out and said that he wanted to do a song, I was like, oh, I know he's going to send me like a 7-minute long, like Rush-esque prog metal epic.
Oh man, I was so floored. Like it's the first track on Delaware too.
Yeah.
So I was just like, dude, this is like a full-on like studio production of this idea, you know? Yeah, really fun track. Goes a lot of places.
I mean, that was a really fun part about putting all this together that like I didn't really think about until I was doing it is one, putting all of the metadata in for every track for 512 tracks. I was like, oh, I didn't know this was going to take as long as it did. But the other part of it was like, I tried to be really intented about putting the track lists together. Like I listened to each album multiple times just to like figure out what's like the best possible flow for all of these completely random songs of different sound qualities and stuff like that. And I feel like for the vast majority of the albums, they're like really listenable as albums. Like the flow is good. You know?
Yeah, I think that you did a pretty good job with that. Like they have like their own flavor each album, you know? Yeah. Really amazing project. I'm like just it's such an overwhelming like amount of like work and stuff that you had to that it seems that went into this. It's just such a big thing.
Hey, let's see what I do for the next pandemic.
Yes. Yeah. Prep for the next one. Whatever that's going to be. But before we get out of here, though, we like to just go around and find out what everyone has been listening to lately and what you might have to plug right now. So, Joey, we might as well start with you.
Okay, let me crack open my Spotify and see what my recently played is.
Of course.
So I have been listening to a lot of like a New York-based singer-songwriter named Sydney Gish.
Okay.
She's just a really good, like, you know, kind of in the style of I'm trying to think of like what a comparison is. It's like probably like younger or like earlier Fiona Apple kind of stuff.
Okay.
And she's great. Definitely give her a listen. Also, the new Saint Vincent song is really great. The new Fiona Apple album is really good.
Yeah.
And things to plug. I don't know. Check out our 50 States Project on SoundCloud. There's over 500 songs that you can check out. I'm paying over $100 a year to host this on SoundCloud.
Oh,
so you gotta get this money's worth.
That's right. That is, you have to pay to have more than so much stuff.
That was also a noted expense of like, oh, I'm just gonna have to pay. This is just gonna be a life expense for me for the next 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, follow me on Twitter at JoeyTainment. Follow me on Instagram at Joey Clift with like 5 eyes.
Yeah.
And then those are probably the big things to check out. Other than that,
cool.
Thanks for having me. And don't listen to Sufjan Stevens. He doesn't deserve your attention.
No.
We anti-plug Sufjan.
It's a traitor.
Yes.
And a coward.
He's a
Unplug
coward.
Sufjan Stevens.
He's a liar. He lied to us.
I love the Illinois cover where you're like grabbing hands with someone and like Illinois is on his face and it's just like, we fuck Sufjan, like we're trading him up for Joey. Like I liked some of the artwork.
Thanks.
Yeah,
that was all reaching out to random friends and people on the internet and being like, I will give you $5 for an album cover for Ohio if you can design it in the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
And being like, sure, here's the thing. And I'm like, here's $5. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
That's amazing.
Email sent to me at probably 3 a.m. on the day before dropping like 20 albums or some shit.
Getting shit done.
Freaking awesome.
Getting shit done. Right?
Yeah.
Don't care about quality. I just care about it being done.
No, it is great quality. I mean,
yeah.
I think Bon Jovi was shittier than any of the albums that you put out. And it's Bon Jovi.
Yeah, Bon Jovi, New Jersey.
Bon Jovi's New Jersey.
Yeah.
Right. Take that, Bon Jovi.
Yeah, Bon Jovi.
You could have spent less effort into this.
Yeah.
You did great.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
But yeah, we'll go around the horn. What about you, Reese? What are you listening to? And what do you have to
and
plug?
I had the name up. Mare Cognitum. It's this black metal project, and I can't speak right now. Mare Cognitum. So Latin term for like the known ocean. And it's a black metal project that I really loved, and I've listened to it. And then also the 50 States project. I've listened to that all week, and it's been really, really good. I have not had like a bad day of driving for work and listening to music, and I've been listening to the 50 States project, our 50 States project, all week. So thank you, Joey.
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you for listening.
I loved it, and I appreciate it so much. And yeah, thanks. And Nate,
yeah,
what about you?
Yeah, so Brad, I think, had to let his dog out really quick because he's probably like chomping at the bit to go outside for a second. But I'll just take this over for a second to be able to talk about what I'm doing and what I'm listening to. So there's a great YouTube that you should check out if you like metal adjacent things. 2 Minutes to Late Night. I plugged them a few times on here. They are from New York, and they did a recent medley of 90s jams, 90s dance hits. And so if you are into like Hadaway's What Is Love, that's in the medley. And I just love plugging these guys because it's actually Mutoid Man and Guarcinio Hall. I forget which band he's in, but that's his persona. Basically, they put on this
Hall
show
is the best possible persona name I've heard.
Yeah, yeah, he wears like black metal face paint and everything, but they play a show normally in non-pandemic times out of St. Vitus Bar in New York, which is a famous like metal bar. And they basically just do, right now they've been doing these bedroom covers, and they did some work with War on Women and like High on Fire and all these other bands. They just are doing all this different like metal covers and stuff.
Oh, are you talking about 2 Minutes to Midnight?
2 Minutes to Late Night.
2 Minutes to
2
Late
Minutes
Night.
to
Yeah.
Late Night. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Second that plug. That's a fun series.
And you just wrecked the whole no copyright thing on this whole stream, Brad. Great job.
Oh, what?
Just because you said 2 minutes to midnight.
Oh no! The copyright gods are going to come after us.
Oh no!
Iron Maiden is just pissed, and they're just stomping down the hallway about to beat you.
It's like somebody said the name of our band.
Did you guys hear about Metallica getting?
Famously hate it when people talk about their bands.
Did you guys hear Metallica got shut down on their Twitch stream? They were doing a live Twitch stream. They got shut down, and it was because of the.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Some of the legislation that they helped get passed. Anyway, as far as me, it's on me, right? I have been listening to the Desert Island Discord, as I have been exclusively listening to for the past several months, and will continue to listen to until we get 50 Discord people. So go on over to our Discord in the description. Check out our our Desert Island playlist. When you get to the Discord, just let us know what your Desert Island 5 are. We will add a song from each of those onto the playlist. And as far as plugs, just go check out the Album Concept Hour Side A. We got like 60 some odd episodes, and we've covered a lot of cool stuff. So,
and check out our 50 States project on SoundCloud, because Joey Clift contributed that, and we are so happy to have been able to review his albums and listen to them and enjoy them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast and talking about these with us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is super fun.
Yeah. It was just I was so glad that you responded. Like, you responded the first time, I should say, back for the North Dakota and South Dakota. You responded very quickly, and we're like, oh yeah, no, it's cool that you guys play it on the Twitch stream. So yeah, we were really appreciative of your great communication, and hope to have you on something else sometime maybe.
I'm down. Hit me up.
Hell yeah. Well, I think that about wraps it up, though, for the Album Concept Hour Side B. Thank you all for joining us in the Twitch stream. Thanks again, Joey, for being here, and we will see you guys next week on the Album Concept Hour.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Get vaccinated. Get your vaccine.
Yes,
Smoke that
you
vaccine.
can. Smoke that vaccine.
Smoke that sweet VC. I don't know.
Be
Bye,
seen.
everybody. This is fun.
Bye. Oh, yeah. Oh, he jumped out.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Well, now
freebase that Pfizer
okay.
vaccine. Freebase that Pfizer vaccine.
Oh yeah, but the Twitch stream's done.
The Twitch stream is still going because you wanted me to play the outro.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm gonna play the outro. Yeah.
Yes,
I didn't
segue into
we're
that.
gonna do that last song. Last song that Brad played. He wanted me to play the whole thing for you because it was so good. So we're gonna do an outro with that, and that is what we're gonna leave you with for real. We are still here technically. Thank you everyone who has come here to join us tonight and promote the 50 States Project and promote our podcast. Take care.
Delaware is the second smallest state with a land area of 1,948 square miles.
Tell you it's boring. If you lived here, you would agree. Most people just pass through, cause that shopping is tax-free. But I can't afford to buy nothing, for I'm just a janitor guy. Corporation that owns me, they couldn't care if I live or I die.
The album concept our side B is Bradley Barron, Reese Galvan, and Nathan Many. The 50 States project was originally started by Sufjan Stevens. Special thanks to 8-Bit Escapades for making an 8-bit version of Polygon Wonderland, and to our patrons for making this possible. Find us on Twitter at Album Concept Pod. See you on side A.
This is Flyover State Park. You are clear to land.